So I just got done doing a maple deadwood and slight clearance. Over the last year or so, I've really devoted a lot of time to climbing trees and getting better at climbing. And there's so many different aspects in the arborist realm, tree guy realm, working with trees. There's so many different facets that you need to learn to be proficient at the job. I've gotten a lot of questions from folks about what it's like to be a bigger climber.
Try being my size, Amy.
What it's like to do it when you're on the upper echelon in the LBs, if you will.
You don't know how it is.
And in a lot of ways, it's the same. A lot of ways, it's, get up the tree. There are some positioning things and friction hitches and stuff like that I'll share with you. This is going to be a bit of a longer video. I've culminated some footage over the last year or so, and I'm going to put it all together, and then closing out, I'm going to go through the climb that I just did, and would love to get your feedback on the videos, or if you like this, or is this even necessary? YouTube is so saturated with real arborists, fake arborists, real tree workers, fake tree workers. It's just, you have to discern for yourself who's really doing it and who's fluff. This is not intended as a guide. This is not training. This is not the way. It's just a way, just a guy's experience. This is just my experience. Please don't take it as me telling you what to do, because that's definitely not. There's a lot of people who are more fast and more efficient than me. This is just what I've learned as a novice. These are just my notes within the last year of getting into climbing. There was a video from a while back that I posted. Maybe that was 6 months ago, where I just said I'm really going to buckle down and learn some stuff. There's a multitude of different things, and I'm just going to show some footage and talk about some stuff, and there'll be some interjections, so follow along, and let me know if this was helpful or not, because what's the point of gaining knowledge if you don't share it? Right on. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. We're closing in on 6,000 subscribers. Insanity. I thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Yeah, no kidding. Hedge apples. It's my personal opinion that tree climbers need to be proficient in both methods, including SRS and MRS, single line, double line. There's 1,000 different acronyms for it, but I believe climbers should know both systems. If you're struggling to ascend SRS, what you can do is start out MRS and ascend the line with knee and foot ascenders. That will help you develop the muscles to be able to ascend an SRS line. So at some point, if you're climbing a tree and removing it, you will need to cut out your tie-in point. The best way, in my opinion, for an MRS system to use a choking anchor that can descend would be a friction saver. Pictured here is a pulley saver from Teufelberger, and then I'm also double tied in with the lanyard, so meeting ANSI standards on the you can descend out of the tree if something is to happen. Pictured here is an example of an SRS system tied off on a spar anchor, as well as the lanyard below it. It also has a thimble saver prusik attached to a carabiner. So those are both choking systems in the case of a gaff out or something like that. Pull as much as you can. Here it comes. I think it's important for me to run two bridges. As you can see here, there's a triangulated positioning in the tree with my main tie-in point and my lanyard, but the lanyard is used as a second tie-in point. I think that there is a lot of functionality in that, and I do recommend it. Climbing is not rigging, and climbing is not cutting. These are two independent skill sets. I think it's important to have a good climbing foundation and positioning foundation before you start rigging or anything like that. This is a Samson 16 strand. I really like the 16 strand ropes, either Yale or Samson for rigging. You can natural crotch or put it in pulleys and stuff, and I think it really holds up well. Yep, keep going, Lyndon. Yep, keep going. Keep going. You got it. Yeah, choke up on that white line some. I think we're good. Good. Right on. Keep going, Lyndon. I think we're gonna miss the lines. Donnie, can you pull any more? Or? Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's perfect. All right, we're clear on the lines.
Good job, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, good rig.
That was impressive.
Thank you. All right, so float it down. Cool. Down. This is the Academy cinch. I believe Jared Abergina came up with it. It is a SRS spar cinching method where you use a thimble prusik on the opposite side of your cinching knot, and this allows you to access both sides of the tree without your cinching knot uncinching, because there are cinches from two different sides on the tree. I really like it for stability and spar work. important to practice low and slow, so that way when you get up in the air you can feel comfortable with your skill set, and that's just kind of what I'm doing here. Pictured here is Treufelberger Adrenaline. I do not recommend that for the heavyweights watching this video. It's just a little bouncy for me. However, its counterpart, Ecstatic, I love that rope. At the end, I'll probably go through recommended heavyweight approved rope. Here's where I first started messing around with the rope wrench. My friction hinges aren't really dialed at this point, so I didn't really like it that much until I came back to it and started messing with shorter hitch cord. I really like 26 and 28 inch lengths and 8mm for the 11.7 climb line. Anytime you need to position your lanyard above your waist, I believe that the forward Ds are underlooked and undervalued, so don't sleep on those. Practice using them and see how it changes your body positioning in the saddle. I think it's much more beneficial to use those forward Ds when you can, especially if you're suspended. Here I'm running the Courant Phoenix 26-inch 8mm hitch cord on Treufelberger Ecstatic. It's important to weight test your system. Sometimes hitches, if tried improperly or not tuned to the rope, they will slip, and it's very important that you test before you start to climb on a rope wrench system with the rope wrench head off of the rope. I know that's not pictured here, but that is the appropriate way to weight test your line before you ascend. Also not recommended if you're working alone or your helper is not readily available. I think it's more efficient to tie your saw to the bottom of your climb line as kind of a weight so you can ascend the rope at the bottom, and then just pull it up when you get where you need to go, so that's less weight you have to ascend with to the tree. Shout out to Ryan Torsicola here. Probably the simplest way I've seen to hook up a saw to a rope. So essentially what you do is you take a bite of rope, you put that bite through the handle of the saw and then over and around the chain brake, and then you take another bite and you flip it around and go back over the chain brake, and it's pretty simple to get up in the tree. Notice the positioning of the flip line on the codominant stem. It's around both stems. It's a little more functional for moving, in my opinion, in this scenario. The reason I cut both of those up at the same time is because they were limb locked together. If you tried to cut those stems independently, you would have a very hard time doing so. It's like they're welded together essentially, and they don't really come out independently. So it's more beneficial if you send them both together if you deem it safe to do so. If you like the way that saw sounded, that is the prototype Ripsaw 201 muffler. I was lucky enough to be a product tester for it. It is an excellent pipe and I recommend it.
Nice.
I had a wicked time hanging out at Randy's, aka Randy is the Mandy, aka Ryan Paulson. Excellent experience. He was super cool. Helped me out a lot. One thing that he helped me out with is actually using a 5/8 flip line instead of a 1/2 inch. I got a flip line when I was out there, the Yale 5/8 maxi flip, and he was telling me about some of the safety features that the Yale snap has compared to some of the other flip lines. And I think it's probably the superior flip line to get the Yale Maxi Flip in 5/8. What you can do is attach a Pinto rig and a Prusik that holds tied to whatever hitch you want, as long as it holds. It really helped out grabbing the flip line and being able to flip around the tree. So just a note there. This is Samson Arbor Freak, and the hitch cord is 10mm Armor Prusa at 28 inches and catalyst hitch. I really like this combo for an MRS system, but I do not recommend it for SRS.
Got it! Bub bub.
That's boarded.
That's boring. Bub bub bub.
Yep.
This footage is from Nicole, aka Carney. Super cool opportunity to work with her at the Academy boot camp. I really liked it. If you ever get the chance to learn from her, do it. Here's an example of me setting up some MA, aka mechanical advantage, with a 3-to-1 on a rope wrench setup. It is a lot easier to go back in from limb walks if you need that extra mechanical advantage if you're transitioning from double line. And it's really important that you hook that rope back to yourself so you don't lose it out on the limb walk. This is a super helpful tip, and it helps me out a lot climbing SRS. Got to be super critical of how you follow through with your handsaw, because you can cut everything. So this willow was super spready, and I carry two 50-foot hanks of hitch climber setups because in these type of trees, I think it's easier to set two lines and use each of them to traverse the canopy when needed. It's also a lot easier than having two 200-foot lines, because at the location I'm at, we're not climbing super tall trees all the time. I do keep a 200-foot hank with me as well, but these two hanks come in handy all the time for ornamental trees, small subdivision trees, HOA trees. You can set a couple lines, come down, and then just go to your next thing, or use them both in an SRS configuration. It is just, the possibilities are really endless with those 250-foot hanks. The rope guru can splice anything you need. Don't underestimate the Blake's hitch, and it can be convenient sometimes. Here I am at the Ohio tree climbing competition. I did ring one bell.
Yeah, how do you finish again? Dead last? Oh, yeah. He had a good day, though. Thanks.
It's really important to dial in your hitches before you climb with them. This is a soft 8 Canopy anchor used for SRS. I really like it because it lets you take out redirects. It's essentially frictionless. You can take multiple redirects and pull it out easily. You just block the small side and back it up with a carabiner and you're good to go on the big side.
There it goes. That's what I'm talking about.
Notice that I throw everything down into the left in a similar spot. That is very mindful. That is very demure. If you want to be a mindful and demure climber, throw everything that you can in a central location. I know it's not always possible, but that really helps out your ground worker. sometimes shaking the limb like that will discard any dead wood, so you don't have to go chase it if it's long enough or big enough. So what I'm doing here is taking an inventory of the work that I need to do with the work that's on the work order. So in this instance, it's dead wood and problem branches intersecting, stuff like that. Structurally, what the tree needs for creating a dominant top. This one wasn't too bad. It already had a pretty dominant structure. But I'm taking inventory of that work and planning the best route possible. When I don't want to burn through the cambium, I'll use a pulley saver, and this greatly improves efficiency with the MRS system and how easy it is to tin the slack or pull yourself up in the system. If you're spending any amount of time in the tree, it is a great efficiency saver. But that's a pro and con you have to set up within yourself. Some people like it, some people don't like it. If I'm going to be in the tree for a while, I'll put one in.
creepy. I'm a boogie. Bardzo niana foto ta ina.